mic, all the bass in my voice comes out, and I sound just like Barry White.
You'll never find.
You'll never find.
All right, you good?
What up, y'all? Welcome to the 29th episode of the High Vibe Guys. Get good pictures of me, Asa. Don't be putting.
Man, I can't even do my. I can't even
It's
do
a video.
my customary
Okay,
buck buck.
Yeah, because I took it.
No, because of my lip.
Oh yeah.
Buck.
Welcome to the 29th episode of the High Vibe Guys. Yo, with your boy Booze. You got Asa, the scholar, the Kanye enthusiast. Outside shoe wise, I don't know if you like him as a person. Nobody likes Kanye.
I actually like him a lot. I just understand that he has different planetary influences.
Greatest hip hop artist ever.
You sound like an apologist now.
Because he has planetary influences?
Yes.
No. People are acting like,
Donkeys.
crazy folks, donkeys all the time throughout our whole life. I'm just saying I understand.
All right, let me rewind it. Let me rewind my intro for you. You got your boy Booze. You got Kanye West apologist to the right. Asa
Let the
Nori.
suicide doors up.
Asa Nori Bay. And eating freaking brunch here as he does every day.
Little vegan organic tabbouleh,
This dude has a picnic basket to his left foot down there.
Picnic basket.
Picnic basket.
With no wheat germ,
And then
or
you got
veggies.
Busted Lip Joe to the left down here. Akil Tally. Let's start off by talking about what happened with you this week. And
Savage.
why your hand looks like it got mangled by a rockwaller.
Oh man, so Whole Foods Market has a program where they were giving team members e-bikes for like $10, and you can have it for like the whole summer. And I live in the New Center area, super close to my job, so I took advantage of that. I've been riding around on my little e-bike, super fun. Them jokers go super fast, 30, 35 miles an hour. The other day I was leaving out for work, and I'm in the street, doing my customary 35. And there's a car coming down, so I get onto the sidewalk and not paying attention and reacting super slow. It was like a gate open on the sidewalk that took up like 85% of the sidewalk. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to get around this and do it at 35 miles per hour. Not ever. And that I clipped. I kind of got around it, but I think I clipped my handlebar, my right handlebar, and went over head first over the handlebars.
Hell no.
Straight onto my face. Straight onto my nose. That was the craziest thing. And it was a lady.
Did your body do like a backwards bend? As you
Bro, like fatality type
You like
status, bro. Like
a real BMXer in that,
face
in that moment.
sliding on the ground. It was terrible, bro. And there was a lady like coming right out of her house when it happened. And she was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Did you say I'm
But
all
she
right?
was No, bro, I was panicking, bro. When I got up, my front tooth was pushed all the way back in my mouth. So I thought it was knocked out, and I had a mouthful of blood. I'm tripping. I'm like, I'm about to be that dude, bro, like with a missing front tooth and a story and a terrible lip. Like, this is all bad.
So what happened with the tooth?
I just pushed it back into place.
God, that's called a dentist visit.
Oh, man, it was so terrible.
Do not eat an apple before you.
Bro, at all. I'm not eating much of anything right
Good
now.
gravy.
But yeah, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Gravy.
You could do gravy.
Drink gravy. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's
Pour that
disgusting.
off.
Now I'll just be smashing smoothies and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know the lady's name. She must have been like, early 30s, young white lady. But she took care of me, bro. I appreciate you. I'm not sure if you would ever hear this, but yeah, she hooked me up. Got me some peroxide, a towel, some Band-Aids.
Man, they say that
water.
good people in the world don't exist anymore. That's
Bro, she took care of me.
some Detroit
You sound
shit.
like Lil Wayne. Did y'all hear about that story when he was like, yeah, when I got shot, all the black police officers ran, and then the white man stopped like, what are you doing? Don't you see this black man laying on the floor?
Yeah, no, I don't want to
So
sound
I don't
like
know
that.
white supremacy. I don't know
Yeah,
what that is.
no,
What is
that's
it?
not what I'm saying at all.
Oh, okay.
I definitely know white supremacy.
Oh, that takes us to the news topic then. So you voted for Trump is what you're trying to say.
Not at all.
Well,
Not at all.
yeah.
Is that what we're doing? Saying who we voted for? I definitely voted for Joe Biden.
I'm not putting that out because no matter
I mean, I
what
don't care.
I say, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, you a jackass."
I
when
don't
you did
care.
this
I don't
or
care. It was more so
I
I
don't feel
could
like
vote
dealing
for
with that.
the local.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? I don't. People can come at me for political stuff. I've stated in the past I don't like either side.
I'm at a point in my life right now where I feel you on that. I don't care, blah, 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 blah. But I'm at this stage right now where I'm like so worried about like my mental space and my energy. I don't even want to deal with people's shit nowadays. You know what I'm saying? If it's not coming correct or if it's not peaceful or somewhere
that.
aligned with my purpose.
That's kind of what
You
we
know?
talked about on our walk yesterday.
Yeah.
That Booze wasn't there for.
Oh, wow.
We
Guess
had a little
who's
stroll,
not shedding
little
tears?
bro stroll. Yeah.
Yeah, and that sounds like one of you guys was getting hold out. All right, little bro stroll. Down in Midtown, got him on a little bro stroll. bring me back my
He
money.
meant a little brother stroll, like a small, like a light brother stroll.
Yeah, he got him on a
Jerk.
whole stroll. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't sound right at all. Pause.
So how do you guys feel about the results then? If you, I know you guys are saying like, I don't care about Biden. I don't really care. I think a lot of us don't see Biden as the greatest candidate to be in this position. You know what I mean? So
At all.
These vaccination, you
But
know.
but I will say that I still feel like it's a change in the atmosphere already, energy wise, with him being in
Yeah.
office, with him being the president elect.
Yeah.
Even if that is like, a little early to say, but you can just tell by like the news energy, especially liberal news. But NPR is like having damn near parade every day. If you ever listen to NPR, it's like every day is like, yeah, and the world is great again. Flowers are blooming in Montana. Fuck Trump. And it's like, oh, God, y'all are really fucking happy this man didn't get in the office. Also, so I'll leave it at that. I want to bring up something else after we get our show and introduce our guests. If I told you I want to talk about it last night. But I kind of feel like I had a fucking segue to my guest too. Shit.
I don't really think it's a proper segue.
A proper
into
segue?
her, you know what I'm saying?
I think sometimes you have sweet segues though.
Okay, cool. You can try your best.
Yeah, you could
You know
try.
what I'm saying?
I had something I felt like was like appropriate and a good segue. I guess if she don't get off her phone, like she's the most important person in Detroit.
She might be
I'm just-
close to it.
I'm just modeling behind you. I mean,
Modeling behind me, I am not on the phone for
Listen,
once.
If you ever listen to our show, Booze is like the everything police.
I listen to every show.
Every show.
The fun police, phone police.
I'm the producer of the show.
Hey, man.
Whatever you guys want to admit it.
He's also the HNIC. That's why he sits at the head of the table.
Oh,
I
thank
ain't
you,
mad,
God.
I ain't mad at that.
Thank you, God.
I ain't mad at that.
Wow.
I love my brother. I give him that all
Oh,
day.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I give
Only
him
a
that
power
all day.
dynamic and sitting at the
Dave,
head
could
of
I
the
get an
table.
HNIC logo or banner right here, bro? And I want the end spelled out.
It's just the letters.
Letters for everything else.
No.
Yes. Oh shit. Oh God. I'll make my own. So I remember my segue now. So a couple of weeks ago, I was all bent out of shape because I kept dropping F-bombs. And then like our guest today actually had me listen to this lady named Miss Pat. And Miss Pat has the filthiest mouth in fucking North America. And Miss Pat is fucking hilarious. And I said, oh my God, I can never be reserved for my F-bombs no more. I was tripping. I don't know what in the hell I was thinking. Miss Pat, she described abortions in like in the 80s as getting jugged in the back alley by somebody who looked suspect. She said before abortion was legal, you had to go get jugged in the back alley. The description was like, huh?
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, if Miss Pat can use that as a way to describe an abortion, I can say an F-bomb here and there. Thank you for that, Edric.
You know how to say my name.
Edric.
Finally.
Edric.
First time.
It's been
Second time.
it's
Maybe
been
third.
it's been a topic of
Damn.
discussion on this show probably every other episode because I got a speech impediment on my back tooth, and it makes it really hard to
I would
pronounce
have
it.
never guessed
like-
that.
Yeah,
I like how you placed it on a specific tooth.
yeah,
I
man.
like that.
The tooth actually juts out to the
31st.
left.
You
We're gonna have
covered
to
that
talk
up really
about that
well.
one day.
My speech impediment or my
for us.
tooth? Oh, my tooth.
We're gonna have to check that out too.
You covered
yeah.
your speech impediment
Yeah.
well.
I had braces, but the thing was I didn't wear my retainer, so when the retainer came, my teeth reset, and so I can sometimes mask it, sometimes I can't. Anyway, introducing our guest for the day. Her name is Edric
What's my last name?
Campbell,
Bong bong.
local Detroit chef. Pretty much is active on the scene as hell. Makes delicious foods. Opening a restaurant with some people in the future. A member of the James Beard Mentor. What's the name of the program?
Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Fellowship.
That was never coming out of my mouth. That was never going to
It's really long for no reason.
flow out of my mouth. But if you don't know what James Beard is, then look it up because that means she's hot shit. Hot shit.
I don't know about all that.
And I am, that also puts me back in the place of just being a cook too. It's like when you're around certain people, it's like when we go like to the dojo, and it's like, oh yeah, I am really just a student, like a white belt. Watching like green belts like put holes through walls with the vision.
Hey man.
But yeah, excellent friend of mine, excellent person. On some real shit, as an adult, you don't make friends like that. You know what I mean? Like your friends come far and few between. And I would say that this is probably the best friend I've made in 2020, easily. And if we are friends in 2020, shit, then well,
You know where you fall in line.
If we survive 2020 as friends,
gotta
it's gonna
say.
be a minute.
Shit ain't on me if you ain't my bestie. All right. Edric, what's your last name? E?
Go day.
Go Day. I would have
Go
never got
Day.
that shit.
Damn.
Asanori
Go
Bay.
Day?
His name flows. Asanori Bay.
Mine do too. Edric Michelle Go day.
Yeah, that do flow.
It's like a couple of extra syllables in there.
EMG.
I mean, it's better than girl.
Good
Oh.
Jesus.
Oh,
Leave that shit where you found it.
Dave. Booze, will you please download the sound effects? You deserved all kinds of shots fired.
I have to. I so thought my segue was gonna be something else.
What you think it's gonna be?
Check your phone.
Let me see. Better not be.
She wrote her own segue.
I didn't.
Oh God. That is not gonna be the segue.
Uh-oh.
The hottest,
Inside
flyest,
jokings.
most magnificent.
So funny.
Do you want to start off with that, or you want to end with that?
Nah, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Man,
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
I told you about this massage, right?
What happened?
Oh God.
Do I want to know about this?
See, I didn't even bring it up. I'll let you bring that up. That don't put
You got
don't put that on
massaged
me.
by like a dude named Sven.
Man, it was worse.
Oh God. So
worse.
we rounding out our trip to Columbus. We ate through Columbus, and we get massages, full body massages. I've never had a full body massage. I've never had a massage where it was like where you pay and somebody's like, yeah, get naked. So like the way it's set up is like in these rooms that don't quite go to the ceiling. It's like a cubicle, right? So it's like ceiling above. Like it's not. The walls don't go all the way to the top. Me and E are next to each other in different rooms. So I'm yell over to E like, yo, E, you getting butt booty ball naked or what? And like, cause I really don't know. It's like, she's like, just take off what you're comfortable with. So I'm like, all right. In my mind, I'm leaving on my drawers, right? I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. It's dark. It's moist. It's like, what the fuck environment is this? It's so weird. Also, E chose this place too, so don't be looking at me. Don't send me no shots, no emails, no texts. Being like, oh, here you go, freaky ass. Wasn't me.
I chose this out.
Groupon. Oh, we put on Groupon.
Yes, but that was after. This is also teachable moment. This is also why, right?
Oh,
As
here
I
we go.
was trying to pre-plan this and say, hey, you know what? I think I feel like getting a massage this weekend. Would you like one too? So I can go ahead and book it at a reputable place. But since Jermon doesn't like to get back to his text message or phone calls, I couldn't book it. So when he decided, you know what? I think I want a massage. Oh, then we got to go to Groupon. And guess what happens? You get what you pay for.
Boom.
If you do not
So this is
download
a teachable moment. So this was not my fault. This
them
is
damn sound effects, she is popping your scalp today, boy.
Yeah.
Why you gonna get me in trouble, Q?
It's
No,
cool.
no. Don't
This
blame
is- this
him.
is our-
Don't
this
blame
is
him.
our
What
dialogue.
the hell?
This
And
is how
she
we
hit you
talk
with
every
the,
day.
When
We
you
not
when
about
they
to
do
be
like
friends
that,
no more.
Right.
when the black woman do like that, it's
Yeah,
a wrap, bro.
yeah.
Listen,
Conversation over.
I'm
So
about to
you
be
done
like, he
fucked
gonna
up, right?
revoke all my best friend privileges.
So we getting these. We go in there like you lay down face first with a towel covering your body, and I'm in my drawers, my skimpies, and the lady comes in, close the door, and she literally pulls my drawers off in one strong stroke while I'm laying down. Y'all ever seen when like a fucking like musician pulls that
Come on,
tablecloth
bro. My
off
lips
the
still
table?
healing.
She pulled that tablecloth off, and like the glasses and everything still set. Drawers came off. Right? And like I'm like, oh shit, this is about to get weird. This is about to be, like shit. And like she's like probably 98 pounds, little Asian lady. And she like every other word is relax. And she like literally proceeds to beat the shit out of my ass cheeks for like 45 minutes. Like she beats the living shit out of me for 45 minutes. And I told even when we got in the car, I was like, was your masseuse breathing hard as shit during your fucking like session? My masseuse was like, relax. And like, I it's the first time getting a massage, so I am literally like, I'm just trying to go with the flow of things. And it's like, the amount of contact she had with my fucking junk, it was like, this can't be a regular massage. He got that deluxe shit. This can't be how massage is supposed to go. Elbows are on my balls while you got your knee on my back, giving me a massage. And like, it was like cool because it was like, oh man, this actually feels good. It just seems real fucking invasive. And there was no conversation about what was about to happen next or what's going into it. And like I asked everybody, I talked to a lot of my friends, they was like, she didn't ask you no question. This lady didn't ask me shit. Fucking chin on my balls.
She
while she
asked you
massaging.
one question,
What she?
and your response just should not have that. This is what they asked: medium or hard, right? I already know medium because you're not finna work me. This fool gonna say it very hard. So she proceeded to beat your ass. Like this is what you don't go to the Thai spot, and when they ask you how spicy, you say really spicy, right? Because you already know. You say medium, maybe medium plus.
At the max.
Did you? I had no clue that like she was gonna proceed to fucking like eat Honda my ass and everything. You know, hook. Power moves. Like we take Kempo and it's like you never really get a chance to practice the power on the moves. It was like she's like, yes, now's the time.
Y'all don't be on a Makwara board? Y'all don't get on the board?
What you talking about?
We not.
In the back of the dojo, it's like a big roped up telephone pole. The
Not yet.
We call that the motherfucker.
Not
Oh
yet.
yeah.
No.
You might be able to hit it like 4 times starting off before your hand feel like it's about to bust up.
Not yet.
I was
I'm not
watching a
looking
white
forward
belt
to
hit that. I was watching one of our people in our group hit it, and she was hitting it like, oh man, she was hitting it so soft. She was hitting it like she was smacking a peach or something. It was like, and I was thinking, man, like that's not developing shit.
That's because she felt how it would.
That first
she just
hit.
assumed how much
Yeah.
it would feel
She not developing
bad
shit.
if she went hard at it. Yeah.
The instructor said if you miss on that punch, you are ripping flesh off of your
Knuckles.
fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And the lady,
It's coming soon.
that
Get ready
masseuse-
for that. Yeah.
that masseuse ripped the
Flesh
skin.
off your ass.
Oh man,
Who the hell is your instructor, lady?
real.
Man, I was in the lobby putting my shoes back on, and all I see him come out the room and like fly past me like, "E, we gotta go. I just got violated." I was like, "Wait a minute."
Man, that was not the intro that I was expecting.
But that was phenomenal.
That was like
That was phenomenal.
I told literally
hilarious.
everybody I knew about this shit too because I thought I told y'all because I was like, I can't believe this shit just happened. I take back all that shit about Bill Cosby.
We
Goddamn.
making friends list.
Nah, we wasn't.
But
We're not
I
high
also
enough.
told him before I booked it, I was like, "This might be a place where they do happy endings." I'm just saying, it's on Groupon, like it's a possibility.
Uh-oh.
Happy ending?
But like that one was available, so that's
Oh.
what happened. I was like, "They doing
man.
some illegal shit in here."
Oh, so you guys never came to the Royal Oak studio. So before the pizza joint and us took over the front building because we built out our video studio there, and there's a pizza place in the other half. That was a massage parlor. And we always thought there was some shady shit going on because, number one, if you bring your trash from your business home with you in your trunk at the end of the night every night, I assume you're doing some shady shit. But the capper was when I was sitting there waiting to come down. I was coming down here for one of our networking events. We were doing it at Nancy Whiskey, and I was going to take an Uber because it's Nancy Whiskey, and I needed an Uber. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm not. Uber's like 5 minutes away. I'm going to walk out front and grab a smoke quick. So I'm looking on my phone as I walk out the front door, and all of a sudden I just hear, "Sir, is this your business?" And I turn, and there's a Royal Oak cop, like a big old dude standing right there, and I was like, "Yes, sir." And I kind of scan around. There's like 4 SUV cop cars in the parking lot, and I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What do you do?" Like, well, the sign right here, it says Podcast Detroit. We're a podcast company. That's what we do. He's like, "Is that your business up front?" I'm like, "No, sir." He's like, "You know what they do?" I'm like, "It's a massage joint." He said, "How do you know that?" So our sign says podcast, and we do podcasts, and their sign says massage, and so I just kind of assumed they do massage. That's what I'm going with. And he goes, "Is this lady with you?" And I look over, and there are like 3 of them that have our cleaning lady like hemmed in her minivan because she was showing up to clean. And I was like, "Yeah, that's Danielle. That's our cleaning lady." And he was like, "All right, ma'am, you can get out." And she looks at me. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" I don't know. So needless to say, they were getting raided, and that was the last day we ever saw the massage joint ever again.
Wow.
Happy endings.
Wow.
Yep.
Happy feelings.
You know what? I thought that shit was like a fucking like myth. I had no clue that you go to a massage parlor and you're like, yo, drop it low or some shit. I don't know what the key phrase is, but it's some code word. You know what I mean?
Pineapples. I don't know.
Pineapple. And I told you I needed a safe word in that bitch. Because this lady fucking put it to me. She pulled out nunchucks. I was like, that shit has nothing to do with the fucking massage.
Right.
This is called the tenderizer.
It was
So
something.
yeah, that had nothing to do with the actual intro to my show that I had planned. But so
It's like that every show.
what? Facts. So one thing I want to talk about, I was talking to Rafa last night. And I got Chefy Buddy here. I got somebody who's doing health and holistic, somebody who's always on the path to doing better. And like Rafa posted a picture, and I told him I was gonna bring it up today about Master P selling them damn noodles in the cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Rafa was like, this shit shouldn't be sold in the store, right? And like I hit him up and I was like, yo, are you saying that because it's Master P, all right, or are you saying it because it just shouldn't be sold? And he said that, like it shouldn't just be sold, but then
He was saying sodium levels was too high.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But then he says like, and this is us in our dialogue inside the IG. He's like, it's like selling crack. Well, no. I said the thing is, in my opinion, I said Master P reinvest in this community. Negroes is gonna eat this mess anyway, and that's not a justification. Negroes, people in general. Let me take that off of us solely. And at the end of the day, man, it's like, to me, he's trying to control the capital, the economy, more so in our community. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like, we already gonna spend them dollars. Why not spend it with somebody who's actually gonna reinvest in your community? That's how I see it personally. And Rafa's like, yo, it's like a crack dealer saying, like, it's okay to sell crack if you're black because, like, you're gonna put it back in the community. I think that was a really stretch. I mean, like, I should read it. Rafa, I don't want you to kill me. Let me read it.
I can understand where Rafa is coming from. It's a fine line.
I don't think it's a stretch at all.
Yeah, because it's a fine line between supporting someone from your community getting to the bag, but what they're providing the community is taken away from the community.
It's poisoning their community.
Then is the bag greater than the overall?
Exactly. And
You know what I'm saying?
is Master P actually reinvesting in his community? Because, I'm from Louisiana, right? So, I'm a huge Master P fan, Lil Wayne, Juvie, all of them. Like, I grew up listening to them. But a lot is starting to come out now that Master P really ain't for the hood and for the community. So is he really? So the thing is, it's all about purpose, right? Is his purpose really to help the community? Like, hey, I'm creating products that's by a black person that'll benefit black people. Or is he just doing it to get to the bag? And he's just doing it to get to the bag. If he would have said, you know what, my community eats ramen noodles like is, because it's 10 cents, right? So I want to come up with a product that they'll eat, but is a little bit more nutritious than what they actually have. All he did was it's the same amount of sodium. I mean, I looked at it like that had 1,000 and maybe 50 milligrams of sodium, where like your regular, the one that you get in the store has 1,400, 1,500. So, okay, so it's diet ramen noodles. Like, it's just, it's still literally over your maximum amount of sodium that you should have in one day. So it's not like it's doing anything more. If he would have cut that sodium by even more than half, made a low sodium ramen noodles where it's still flavorful, and make it still affordable so that they're buying that product instead of poisoning themselves, then I'd have been like, you know what, he's onto something. But he just made something to bring him more money. He took advantage of an opportunity, whether it was ramen noodles, also his rice, right, because of Uncle Ben's and the controversy with that. Pancake mix because of the controversy behind Aunt Jemima and that brand. So all he's doing is just taking advantage of an opportunity. And I'm not saying that as a businessman, I understand that. But as far as being an advocate and reinvesting in the community, no, that's not what he's doing.
So what's the difference between, and this is what I said, what's the difference between somebody selling liquor, all these rappers selling liquor? What's the difference between these shoe endorsements?
Nothing.
I said, and this is my thing is, like, I can go down a trail of things that are almost the exact same thing to some extent. These overpriced shoes that people kill for, these liquors that people drink every day. Because Rafa was like, people don't drink, people putting out a spirit, and I don't get that. Rafa, you ain't your voice. That's my I'm doing an impersonation voice. But he was saying something along like, people put out spirits is not to be consumed every day. So my thing would be like, all right, so there are a number of products that we support and endorse. We don't have any control over any economics. I hear you, E. I also know people have a tendency to like what they like. So therefore, there is a chance that lower sodium, and I'm not mad about it, because you really can control the sodium in noodles by just adding less noodle stuff packet stuff to the noodles.
People don't do that.
People don't do it. So therefore,
wait. You're trying to tell me you're not? Then why do they put the full packet in there if you're not supposed to use the full packet?
Flavor, baby? You ain't never had ramen noodles?
That's
full
not
sodium.
That's
full,
not
yeah,
logical.
it's
Yeah.
Like if you're not supposed to use it, then don't give it to me.
Dump it on.
All
That's
right.
like me-
I guess the thing is though is that you have some control in the situation is all I'm trying to say.
We all have control of our situations. We always have a choice.
And I guess I'm not disagreeing with you on the points that is an unhealthy product. I think it's weird though that like we are so on the head of the person who produces it, and then the community has the tendency to overuse and overeat these products, and it's like that's the issue. The ramen noodles are going. Hold on, I'm sorry. The ramen noodles are going to be there irregardless. So I do now. So you got me if he's not about empowering, employing, and providing for his community. You can have that all day because that's my stance. It's like if you're gonna do something with the bread, you know what I mean. I don't like Nino Brown giving back turkeys. Like that ain't a real. That's not really advocating for your community. But if you're employing thousands of people, if you're really being a change in industry, whether it be entertainment or food, and helping us take control over our situation so we can do more, I'm going to say, you know what? I think that it's not as black or white as we want to make it, and we're not in business and we're not controlling that huge part of the market and trying to figure out how to have an impact. We're looking from the outside in, and I'm just giving the other perspective, not necessarily disagreeing 100%. Because my thing was, and it will be, if you are putting money back into this community and having an impact, let's talk about what you're doing. Let's make it a discussion. Let me not just get at you because you're doing the same thing. Because at the end of the day, man, we're spending that money regardless, and it's going out of my community. If it's coming back in, we can bring it back in somehow and have impact. I'm not finna sit there and beat you up too much because it's so many other factors that are going on. Now, if you're just taking money from us, you know what I mean, and robbing us like everybody else, you are worse than the ramen noodles.
And I think I don't mean to cut you off, I apologize, but I think that is what Raphael's point is. It is robbing the community. And also, let's also back all the way up, right? So Raphael is doing things to empower his community and to change,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
boom, boom.
he is all about, of course, neighborhood grocery.
Mm-hmm.
His whole brand is about bringing that, making sure that we are, like they said, make the hood healthy again, right? So that whole neighborhood grocery, the idea of it is to be able to empower our community and bring healthy, nutritious, affordable options into the community. So if anybody can speak to that and be like, this is some bullshit, it's him, right? Because he is actually he's not just talking about it. He's not just like, man, that's some bullshit. And then be like, well, I don't know how we gonna fix that, but I don't like that. No, he's like, no, that's some bullshit. And like, but what I'm trying to do is do better than that. Because I think it is still robbing our community. Like, just because he Master P and he a black man, that don't mean that he is doing us a service by creating products like that, because I don't see it coming back into my communities. And quite frankly, when I lived in Louisiana, I ain't see it going back there either.
But my whole thing was, it's like, we quick to aim at each other. You know what I mean? Rightfully so sometimes, and then sometimes not. But again, it's like we pick and choose sometimes for real, what we're going to choose it. Jay got Ace of Spades. Ciroc, and Raphael was like, people shouldn't drink that every day. I know people who drink Hennessy before they get up and go to work. You know what I mean? So
True.
it's like the thing, and I guess that goes back to my point, though, was like, how much are we holding these individual celebrities to a standard, and then our community isn't kind of held to a standard? And I get it. They got influence. They use their influence. He put rappers on the front of his snacks. That's a really trendy thing, popular thing to do. But I guess that at the end of the day, it's like, I still, to some extent, and I'm not justifying P's action. I am saying I see from the business side of things, and again, only if you're putting that money back in. You know what I mean? What the approach would be and why the approach would be that. But if you're robbing us, P, God, please don't be robbing us, P.
He robbed the fuck out of us, okay?
Don't be robbing us.
Do you think that we should make it a habit of having that type of conversation behind closed doors? Do you think that would change the game?
I think, man, like, I think what we're doing right now is great, because do you think this is behind closed doors? You think this is?
No. This is, it's a podcast making, more people aware. But I meant like somebody like, businessman to businessman, somebody who has a problem with somebody else, like, reach out to them. And then if they don't respond or allow that platform for the discussion to be had, then you could take it public. But habits like that, do you think that would be healthier, or?
Well, this is where like I'm gonna really lose this, because I've seen Pete already defend this argument poorly before. I did a better job now than Pete did himself when he was trying to defend this shit.
So you would defend somebody that had a platform to defend himself and did it very poorly?
Well, I don't think P is like the most eloquent spoken man. I think sometimes he's got some uplifting
how long
words.
how long has he been a businessman to be able to improve on being able to defend his own actions?
Hold on. So we just watched Ice Cube melt in front of the world, right? Ice Cube has been in business for a millennia. Just because they're successful doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to articulate and explain themselves thoroughly enough to get their point across. They know business. And I've learned one thing about business. Business don't always mean you're the best spoken person in the room.
Oh, I believe it.
It means your actions is getting through to whatever needs to happen. And I'm not saying that is, again, a justification as much as when I was watching, I was like, P don't necessarily know how to say what he's trying to say. You know what I mean?
And guess what? That's because it's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's not who he's trying to defend a point that isn't really a part of why he's doing it in the first place.
Let me ask you this. So did you think Ice Cube was authentic? Because I watched him get torched, and I thought he was authentic as hell.
I ain't even see it.
So I don't necessarily agree with that viewpoint, just because I watched Cube get flizzamed by Roland Martin and 1,000 black ladies who are very eloquent and articulate and knowledgeable on something in a way that he wasn't. He was passionate. And I think I say this a couple times. Passion ain't always the key. You know what I mean? And again, I think, like you were saying, we make this a behind the door conversation.
Protocol wise, like initially, and if that doesn't work, then full flame on, do your thing.
And I would say too, like people, like she said, like Rafa. If I feel like I'm glad we have people like that in our community, because people like Rafa do have the right to raise a flag. You know what I mean? Like,
had it not been for Rafa, this shit would be dead. Crickets right now.
And I also want to bring this up.
And that's not true, but I hear you.
Rafa didn't just bring that up as like, oh my God, this black man got this product out that's poisoning our community. Rafa did not grow up on ramen noodles, so he had no idea. He had never looked at a back of regular ramen noodle, pack that sells for 10 cents at the store, or the Master P brand. He just so happened to go to somewhere and see the Master P brand and was like, oh, let me check this out, right? I've been hearing about this. And that's when he turned around. So it just so happened that he saw that and then saw the brand, but like he didn't
How do you
know
know
ramen
this?
noodles.
How do you know?
Because I saw the feed from where he put it on social media. I follow him, and then like I was texting him like, what's going, I'm saying, like asking him questions about it. But
I feel set up now. I feel like they had this whole dialogue planned out.
I think,
And here goes tactic B.
I think for you, the caveat has to be that P is putting back into the community. Because if not, then
It's all for nothing. It's all
he's
for
a
a buck.
succubus on that tip.
right.
But it's just so. I guess the thing is like it's so many products. There's so
Okay.
many products that we put out that are.
But hold on,
straight
I wanted to
bullshit.
address that too. Ramen noodles are way more accessible and way more common in low poverty areas than Ace of Spades, bro. Like, it's not too many people.
What about
in,
Ciroc then?
Then Ciroc.
And it's a
Ramen noodles
difference-
cost 50 cents.
right, and it's a difference between like what you need every day, like
Yeah.
food and groceries and luxury. Like
Mhm.
alcohol really
People
is
build
a
their
luxury,
lives around
right?
that.
Like
But this thing is, I think there's a lack of touch of reality here. People who will eat the ramen noodles to buy the liquor. You know this. So it's like we're trying to say like, what, these are two extremely different categories. I know people who drink every damn day.
But listen,
And they will go out so I'm sorry.
what's the demographic of people eating ramen noodles versus people who drink alcohol?
You
You're
had
talking
that.
little kids.
Now you
exactly.
You
You're
got that.
talking 7-year-olds who know how to make ramen
But I
noodles.
guess
on their own.
the thing is like y'all are finding the differences when it's very similar. I will say that if we were to do categories of like difference and similarities, you know what I mean? I feel like it might be very equal. It might be close to equal. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying as far as like the things that like there are differences as far as who that gimmick graph goes to and all these other different things, but very similar concepts. Famous rappers, right? Who are endorsing products that are not healthy for the community whatsoever. You can't just, I hear you. Vodka has no health benefits.
None.
It has none. So whether you killing a baby or a 40-year-old man, it has no health benefits. And
And plenty of health hazards.
And I guess like I'm not saying it's got to be all or none as much as I guess like this is a great conversation to continue. Period. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it is worthy of our time. And again, man, like I'm open to changing my perspective. I'm not justifying P. And again, it's like I've said 1,000 times already. Like if this is really just robbing the hood, then you got to go, bro. And I get it from Rafa's perspective too. Like when I tell people you got to meet people where they're at. And unfortunately, man, like I've cooked a lot. You don't get people when you do less sodium. Sometimes you're gonna have a small crowd, and
Come eat my leaves and bread
Well,
sandwich.
But I think that all
It's
really
a
brings
wrap.
it back to as well. I mean, the thing is, don't let that make it right.
yeah,
Right. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying about, how do you grab your audience and, if there's an opportunity to make a change, how do we do that? Someone like Master P does have a platform to create change, right? So not to say that, but I just don't think that was important to him, and that wasn't a part of the brand. Like that was not a part of why he created those products in the first place, and that's fine. Like if that's what you so choose, but then don't come on trying to defend yourself like it was. That was not a part of who he is, and I mean I'll just bring it back to even me personally, right? I'm opening up a Creole restaurant, right? Creole food isn't like the most healthy, right? We add a lot of butter in this shit. We making stuff with a roux. It's stewed down. It has a lot of meat in it. So will I make sure that my product can attract different audiences, right? So there might be product items on my menu that are vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. But if you think I'm about to move, my whole menu is about to be like, make sure everything is vegan, everything's vegetarian, I got gluten-free breads. No. Because it still has to be on brand, right? And I'm not also putting myself out like this is a healthy or, this is a health inspired. No, like, is it for the community and our items going to be affordable? And I'm going to make sure that like members of our community, it's accessible, right? But if I'm not going to change my whole brand just so that I can say,
well,
all of these different things, that's not a part of the brand. And so I think Masterpiece is the same way. Like he ain't trying to do all that.
and I think you're saying what I think we're kind of speaking something similar. Where I say the community has to hold themselves responsible for their actions, what they put in their body. Like that's the part I feel like we're not really addressing. And I get it, Master P's famous, and it's like shit. It's easier to go at P, right, and say P, you got to do different, bro, than it is to say community. We got to change because take his ramen noodles out, and they still eating the same shit.
They are, but let me take this back to something like Detroit Vegan Soul, right? I think we had this conversation before. So if you look at, trying to influence, particularly those in our community, to just change up their diet, right? Because Detroit Vegan Soul was kind of born from one of the owners. I want to say her father passed away from a diet-related disease. And so after that, she was like, this cycle has to stop somewhere and somehow. But our communities are used to eating things that is going to cause high cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease, and things like that. And so that's really where Detroit Vegan Soul was born from, in the idea of if I can introduce them to something that's still familiar, but it's vegan based, right? Then I can at least start to change people's minds. But then, as you get further into the movement, right, you look at it and you go, it's a lot of fried shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff with a lot of processed stuff, but it's at least opening people's minds up to that vegan lifestyle, that it can be familiar. So at least that's where they started it for that reason. And I think maybe Raphael's point or how I see it is that if that's what he wanted and it was about empowering the community, then there was ways that he could do that and introduce it in a way that was familiar, right? But still at least introducing them to something healthier. And I understand what you're saying about holding the community accountable. You're absolutely right. But we also know that there's so many barriers to that. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that we're all a part of this. We all know this, that there are so many barriers that let's start to try to break down some of those barriers in that, you know what I'm saying, to help the community understand why, and then also provide them access, and then we can start to really make change.
And I agree with all of that. I think it's just like you said before, too, like Vegan Soul came with that as their concept. He said, I want to put a cup of noodles out, baby. Make it taste like gumbo.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wody. And, and like, I think... I don't know Master P well enough to know his thoughts. I've never heard him speak on culinary and the impact of food and nutrition inside the community. So it's hard for me to say, you know what, P knew better when he was making this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And P blah, blah, blah. Because I think that's the thing is like, now that P does know better, hopefully he responds. Hopefully his
Does he know better, though? Does he care?
Well, his manager, somebody was flaming his ass because he said something on Instagram. Somebody was like, same amount of sodium as this cup over here. Wody, what you got a problem with that for? I don't got no more Louisiana slang off the top of my lip.
Limited to 2 words.
Yeah, you give me some of that Louisiana slang, huh?
Nah.
Give me some of that Creole. Oh, yeah, okay,
bro.
all right. That's all right.
You don't like mine, because I call everybody honey and sweetie. And
Oh, because that's sexist. We can't
it's not.
can't say female no more. Honey, sweetie, it's all at the door.
So, basically, what I'm hearing, the grand total of things, the summarization of what you guys are saying, is that we need to go back and reevaluate as a people, as a collective. We need to go readjust our value system, and that way, like all of these, external problems might get solved or nipped in the bud. Because originally, when the conversation started, it sounded like, let's not use that Band-Aid, let's use this Band-Aid, because it's like, it's still a Band-Aid, bro. Let's talk about why we getting cut in the first place.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. People want to put Band-Aids over it instead of getting to the root of the problem,
Exactly.
right? If I broke my leg and you put a bandage, well, how, you know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? Why? And let's get to the root of it instead of just trying to throw a Band-Aid over it. And, with that being said, though, I mean, we got to go all the way back. And so we got to look at, and you guys have talked about this on the podcast before, about systemic, institutional, all of those things as to why we are now at the point where our families are eating 10-cent ramen noodles every day, all day. How do we get there?
Can I say too? This is why I think I have an issue with us attack. Like I said this earlier, why I have an issue with us attacking P, because it ain't P. It's bigger than P. P is merely.
It's bigger than P, but he has to take some responsibility in this too.
That's
right?
fine. That's fine. That's
He
fine.
should.
That's fine. As well as the person buying the ramen.
Facts.
So the thing is, I think it's a collect. Like he said, it's community. It's a collective thought process that needs to take place, because pinning or trying to put this on any individual, especially us, Cause it ain't even our fault. It ain't even P's fault that he was constructed the way he was. Think about his story and what you know about P. You know, like he is literally operating from the space that he knows that he exists and was created from. And that ain't on him. That's on the society that we live in. And like kind of like you said, we got to go to the source. We got to go to the root. And I think maybe I've been feeling like this a lot recently, where I feel like we sometimes really hold ourselves to an unrealistic standard, and society already holds us to an unrealistic standard. And I get it, like there should be accountability, right? But there should also be some type of understanding when in that space of trying to sway a person to change how their actions or what they are doing. Like it has to be a level of understanding. I used this analogy the other day with somebody. I was talking about people who go to prison, right? And I was talking about felons. And I said, man, a felon got a black mark on their life for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? It ain't you do the wrong crime. It don't matter how much time you do, right? You could do all your time and come out reformed. And I say this, depending on the crime, and if you ain't coming out apologizing and begging for mercy, then I get you can be hated. You need to be hated for the rest of your life, depending on what you do and depending on what happens. That goes for Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby don't come out apologizing and don't come out on some humble shit. I ain't gonna lie, Bill. You can kick rocks because at the end of the day, man, you got to show that you are regret your actions. Same with P. We keep going down this line, and P putting out sweet potato pies with more sugar than any sweet potato pie on the line or some shit like that. Or he started his own line of fried chicken, and his GMO chickens are the size of horses and some shit. At some point, it's like, all right, P, I was trying to defend you, but you really trying to milk this shit. You know what I mean? But my point was that for us, man, I think we gotta forgive each other more, a little bit more, and also try to help us go down the path of learning and growing and developing, man. And that goes from P to the consumer. And I feel like that's where all of our tensions are. You know what I mean? Rafa, for sure. You, Akil, Busted Lip. Busted ass lip. Mother.
Hey,
I love
man.
these necklaces, dog. You know, this is
Thank you, Goddess.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yo,
Shut up, Booze.
I think that people at that level with that type of platform definitely are in a position to be criticized. However, it's also, if we have an eye to see, it's also a blessing in disguise, because had that situation not come up, that situation or topic or issue might not have even got addressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So let us humble ourselves and just be present and grateful holistically. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind that's a person just like us, sentient being, like Booz was saying. He's a reflection and a byproduct of what
his
he
environment.
learned.
Absolutely.
And, his circumstances, et cetera, et cetera.
And I absolutely, and I agree with that. I think there's also, as far as talking about accountability, right, and not holding ourselves to unfair standards. Being able to grow, right? If you really want to grow and be better, then you're gonna have to be able to open yourself up to some type of criticism, right? And I think you're right. I think that is what we're all trying to do. We don't ever, I think, approach anyone or any situation or our business and be like, this shit terrible. You know what I'm saying? You need to work on this. It's almost like we build these relationships to say, hey, have you thought about doing it this way? Have you thought about maybe trying it this way? And what I saw as far as the conversation at Raphael, I saw he posted it, and then I was kind of reading some of the comments and his comments behind it. His responses to that was really about opening up that conversation, and maybe this will now make P look at it and go, man, maybe I could have made that product with a little bit less sodium, and hopefully that does get his wheels turning so that he can grow and be better and go, okay, that was the first iteration, but I understand now.
I think you clean.
I'm doing.
I think you cleaning up. Rafa made a very black or white statement. And he said this shouldn't be sold anywhere. That was the comment. I'm not mad at him. My thing was, let's make it open for real. And I'm not mad at Rafa because his post brought this on. This is an excellent topic to talk about. Rafa, I ain't gotta. I'm about to say some shit I ain't gotta say. But I wanted to say that I'm just not for the black and white statements. Shades of gray of what I say, life consistent, man. Unfortunately. And that's like when you make that black or white statement, it got to be something that's real. It's got to be definite. And there are very few things in this world that are just that. You know what I mean? There is what do we call this shit in class? There's truth and then there's personal truth. personal truth means that's your opinion for the most part.
There's perception, there's reality.
Right. So this is a lot of personal truth in this conversation. And I guess that's where like learning to dial back your personal truth to find what the truth is or to get closer to the truth. But this is where I very much concede in saying that like this is where like people like P need to humble themselves. You know what I mean? Like when it's brought to you by your community and you saying they saying you poisoning us. All right, big dog. Take that grill out and speak clearly and let us know how you gonna respond to this, because at this point you do have the room to respond, to maneuver in order to put yourself in a better space, a community in a better space if that's really what you're about. Right. Even if you ain't giving the money back, now that you know what is gonna be your response, I hope you're giving that money back. I hope you're really employing people. Because the thing is though, and P, the more I think about this, man, it's like, damn, I want to P got hitters in Detroit. But the more I think about this, I know for a fact.
He definitely not going to hear this podcast.
Man,
not yet. We coming for you.
All right, when you pick up your phone, hey, woed it.
Stop with the woadies.
But I was going to say.
Brain fart.
But I know, because I had an associate who was actually starting a ramen line last year, a friend, family member. And, like, I know what Pete did is, like, and you can hit up China and be like, yo, put my label on this cup and put these ingredients in the cup.
Absolutely.
And they like, they start kicking it out. That's wrap snacks to his soups. I mean, his ramen noodles. So, all of to say, like, I know for sure that he probably was not really, in my mind at least, I'm convinced that he wasn't thinking about the health benefits of it,
Absolutely
good or bad
not.
when he was going into it. And I think that's also like part of the complexity of being black too, is like you got these additional loopholes that you have to kind of jump through, as opposed to somebody who might look like Dave, who might not have some of the same obstacles and barriers in front of them. No, it wasn't this. It was just saying that you're white. And
thanks for clarifying that,
Right.
brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave looked at me like, what, my name came up?
Well, I honestly, I didn't know if you were referencing, I don't know if you caught SNL, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I did.
Dude, his opening, I think was 16 minutes. And one of the most profound things that he said during that is, I can't even say something that's true unless I follow it with a punchline.
Yeah. Held to a different standard. And also, the greatest thing about that show was the amount of N-bombs he dropped on it. That
I
It's like-
I was waiting for the Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben skit reference, because that was
was nice,
genius
too.
in and of itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That had some hilarious skits on it. That did.
Yeah.
The news piece on that one was great too. But
Oh, Michael Shea was drunk. Let's not.
but just to say that we held to a different standard, and that it is what it is though, man. It's like Asa said it best last week or the week before last. It's pressure, and pressure creates diamonds and brings the best out of you. So maybe we're going through all these things to be our best collectively as a people.
Because if not, it just breeds mediocrity.
Facts.
Like, and I don't want to sit in mediocrity. So.
Speaking of, if we had more time, we would speak to mediocrity a little bit more, because we definitely had a
We're
conversation
gonna have
about
to
it.
have E back on.
This
bro.
a part one for sure. She too dynamic, and she's only giving little inklings of her
Yeah,
true
we ain't
potential right
even
here.
because of this conversation going where it went. We didn't even dive into how
Nothing.
impactful. She
Well,
is
you
to her
25 minutes about a massage story, so there was that. There was
Facts. But that
Impact. That was impact.
That was so necessary, Dave. I'm sorry, Asa.
Two things before we wrap it up. One, for the listener, when we say truth and personal truth, just an analogy would be if you have a sphere or a ball or something, right? At the dead center, that core, that's the truth. And then some point on the surface, that would be, someone's personal perspective. And that's like the way they see the rest of the situation. And I want to use that as a segue going back to Rafa. He's saying his personal truth, yeah, but that black and white, the reason why it's so like solidified on one side right there is because the situation that we're in. I hear the mediocrity part, but I don't think people understand like what condition we're in right now. If we keep eating like we're eating, if we keep on popping out ignorant people, if we keep on, draining ourselves and all this foolishness that has nothing to do with our purpose on earth and our spiritual well-being, we're, like, at that tipping point where we could become out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we might be the most original people and all of that, but the way the world is moving, you got a lot of groups of people and races that are really like making progress. You know what I'm saying? Moving up to different levels while we're not only stagnant, declining on a regular basis. So if we don't get it together, I think Rafa's coming from that state of mind like this. Look, this don't need to be in the store. This get this up out of here, because if we continue on that path, we'll become borderline extinct.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And he not only saying like this don't need to be in the store, but the store that the grocery store that I am building, it will not be in here.
Yeah.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just, like I said, man, I just wanted to bring it up for the conversation. I felt like it was
Thank
a good
you.
topic.
Yes.
And I feel like I
All
appreciate
praises
Rafa.
to you.
And all praises to Rafa for even putting this in his IG feed and to be his conscious to always be thinking about things like this, no matter what's going on. This is a part of who he is as a person, and so this is a part of why he's such a blessing to his community that he's now involved in.
Big facts.
Because he's bringing his mindset where he's here to change the structure. He's here to address the systemic issues, not just the surface issues.
And I think, and I don't want to speak for Rafa, but I think we all know him well enough. I feel like I know him well enough to know that if he made a very black and white statement like that, it was for a reason. It was to bring out the people that would have those arguments so that then he could hopefully have a conversation to get them to thinking differently about it. So sometimes we got to do that, right?
Fact.
Yeah, and but again, man, I think like we said before, it's all about everybody listening and kind of moving forward as a collective, man. Because nobody can do it individually. Nobody can, so we all need to be on the same page, and these conversations got to be had. Master P, I swear, if you hear this, hit me up. I give you my cell phone number. We'll talk about the next. What's the name of this phone movie? What's the name of it?
I got the hookup.
Right.
I got the
I got
hookup.
the hookup.
We talk about I got the hookup 3 in Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
We gonna be selling what? We selling phones in the last one, so making
But,
movies in the last one.
As much as
Now
I
we
hate
gonna
to
talk.
say this, but as much as he is a businessman too, I mean, some of the stuff he's put out, we can see how much his mindset breeds mediocrity.
Yeah, yeah.
Download the app.
I don't think it's any. She right on that though. Like that's accurate. Like
No, that's 100.
Like you can be
that's
successful and be
100%,
mediocre, obviously,
yeah,
right? But
that's a conversation that we should definitely talk about, because black community, like the bar sometimes is set kind of low for what we, like sometimes it's like we just on the screen and then we going crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, we going ham because we on TV. Period. You know what I mean? No matter how good or terrible it is, pretty much most Detroit movies, it's just more like it's not really great. It's just like, oh, they at the corner store around the street from me.
Don't say no names,
I'm not saying no streets.
boy, because they are here.
exactly, they are.
They are definitely here.
KDZ, you are an excellent actor.
Yeah, some savages.
Kill, that was a great line, bro.
I didn't say that.
Damn, y'all gonna let me get okay.
I didn't say
No,
nothing.
we're ending this episode. We're ending this episode officially. God
There's
damn.
but here's the thing
And
too. There's
protective
also
witness.
a difference between growth, right? Like you start out small to get to that next level and then to get to the next level. But when someone like P, right, is at the level that he is, you know what I'm saying? Like what he produces should be at a higher quality and still shouldn't be looking like these people that are still trying to come up. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But so many people told him that, oh, you hot, this is dope, everything else that, like, there was no concern about getting better because he's seeing all the money that he's making and everything that he's getting with the product that he's producing. And
And a lot of time people in that position surrounded by yes men. So yeah, do it again. Oh, that's work. That work. Yeah.
But mediocrity is a part of the American landscape, though. So let's not just put on our community, because we just had a president who, for 4 years, fucked everything up, and like it's funny. Like now he's leaving, talking about he didn't win the election. I was just like, that's a part of our culture as a whole. I guess that's what I'm trying to say too. I think with us though, man, I think like I don't know where I was gonna go with that, but I will say that I just feel like that's just a part of the American landscape.
That is true.
I mean,
Terrible
seriously,
education.
They said literally all you need is the confidence of a mediocre white man.
We have a mediocre democracy. You know what I mean? I won't even go deep into it, but I was listening to NPR and I was listening to the different democracies that exist throughout the world. And like we have the most unevolved democracy for a major country in the world. It's like there are levels to this, to like governments and democracy and what we call a democracy. And like even Ireland has a more developed and advanced democracy than we do. You know what I mean? More transparent and efficient. But also, you know, this country is kind of the place too where it's like they like for us to be where we're at. You know, like don't think too much, don't overthink it.
Bro,
Spend your money.
So here's the challenge with that, because I've gotten in this conversation a lot about, like, it still stuns me that we have federal elections, but states can have their own rules about how those elections happen. And the sad reality, I mean, the reality to keep in mind is when you talk about an Ireland, you talk about, you know, damn near anywhere in Europe, a typical state is bigger than those countries.
Oh no, our guest just walked up. Yep. Oh, you got anything else to say, Dave?
No,
That
I'm
was-
listening.
you was going-
I'm listening to you. I'm sorry. We need a photo op real quick.
Oh, gotcha.
So
So that's a thing. I mean, and so, you know, it's hard when you look at, you know, oh, you know, Sweden does it this
Oh, I
way.
see what you're
Great.
saying. I see what you're saying.
Dude, Sweden's the size of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
You know,
Size of the country definitely complicated, but is it being addressed? Is it trying? Are we
no,
collectively?
no, it's not.
You know what I mean? So I guess like that would be a conversation if we were even attempting. And I had this conversation with my mom's all people recently, and I was like, it's just more of like we have to evolve as a country at some point, man. Like we can't continuously operate the same way we've been operating on a governmental level and expect for things to change systemically either. You know, like it's a lot of things that we don't touch. And I guess just to swing back to the election, the one thing I told myself I'm going to do after this election is try to be a little bit more engaged. I'm not going to, like I told my mom, I said it's almost impossible for a person who's busy, who have their own life, their own place in society to be a politician or be politically savvy, 100% politically savvy. But to be as disengaged as I was also is unexcusable too. Like I can hold myself to that. But continuing conversation with that too, because that's a whole nother rabbit hole we about to try to jump into. Go for it.
No, I understand what you're saying. And you're right. You know, we all live lives, right? But I also think that for those of us who don't have families, you know what I'm saying, like don't have kids, to make sure like they're, you know, we get them ready for school in the morning. You know, there's that whole thing, and who, as much as we fill our lives with things, right? Like you got a lot going on, I have a lot going on. I think there's still an opportunity and also responsibility for us to carry some of that weight for those that can't, instead of making excuses that we don't have time because we filled our lives with whether that's all these different jobs or organizations that we're part of. Like you have a platform, right? So you talking about being engaged in you know, and as far as like in politics, you literally have a podcast, you know what I'm saying, that you can help to influence, right? Or like get other people to engage. So there's ways that we can do it where we sit, right? And that's more so, I think, what I try to do, or attempted to, more than anything, is that things that are important to me and I believe them, I figure out how do I do that in the places that I sit and where I have a platform, right? So there may be ways where I'm trying to help people become their best selves, but it's all centered in food, right? I use food as that vehicle to help someone become their best selves. Maybe that doesn't always look like I'm pushing someone to make the healthiest options, but I am hopefully pushing them by building relationships and having conversations about helping them to be their best selves in other ways. So we can all do that.
I like that. People need to duplicate that for sure.
Facts.
Yeah. Duplicate yourself.
I'm trying.
Man, this show
Next
went by
person said a T
fast,
word.
bro.
Lead.
That was the fastest show of all time.
Who gonna say try again next?
Who said try?
You did.
When?
You said I'm gonna try to
You
be
did
more
say
involved in.
I at least said attempt.
Get him, Instructor Vaughn.
I was gonna ask you what instructor they got the hardest blows.
Negro shows up with like a poof behind me. Try. Hair claw. Little nigga. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap this up.
Y'all are some kings, man.
Oh,
Thank you, E,
Thank you.
for
Y'all
coming
are
aboard,
amazing.
blessing us
that.
with this divine feminine energy.
Yes.
Yeah, which
In
we
this
needed.
world full of, I gotta say it, we're highlighting divine feminine energy for a while now,
Oh,
right?
that's beautiful. Yes.
But we would like to also differentiate between what you bring to the table and what you representing, and then those other sisters that we love dearly who have not tapped into that, who still on that ratchet, jab, all that, like that the energy
Right.
that needs to get transformed
There's
and
more
refined.
growth. That's all. It's just more
Yeah.
growth.
But thank you for showing us and the world what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say it like that.
I appreciate
sure.
you. And what I love about y'all too, and I think particularly this episode, it felt like y'all did it more than anything.
Like
was
me and Booze.
TWO.
Or TOO, like everybody.
Oh, sorry. TWO.
TWO.
I was like, what? Okay.
All right.
Bro, stop doing that to
Is
me.
that is that like
So sincere.
you all are very not only authentic but intentional in the words that you use, and how you like provide those words of affirmation. And I really, really appreciate that about y'all.
Definitely. We're just a reflection of fly people like you.
Man, I'm a reflection of y'all. I love this energy.
All this love.
Yeah, our guests do bring it. It is the guest though. It like the guest
Yes,
brings
sir.
up the energy. When the show go by in like 5 seconds, it's the guests, and we've had a lot of great guests. So no one's better than the other, but the guests were the ones who definitely make the show live. You know what I mean?
Well, like I listen to every episode. I'm literally like, and I've told Jermaine this before, is that y'all put out 2 episodes at a time. So when I'm like, I be checking them. Like, when he said Fridays. But then I end up, because I've been like waiting for it for 2 weeks, I listen to them back to back and then be like, damn, now I got to wait a whole nother 2 weeks. Like, I just be like, when can you stop and be like, all right, just 1 episode. Let me save this for the next week. And I swear I just be like, did they film this week? Is it be like a crackhead? Like, can y'all just do an episode? Because this is literally
That's
one of my favorite podcasts that I faithfully listen to as soon as the episodes drop. Now I have it on Spotify to where I get notified when the new episodes drop, so I don't have to keep checking my phone.
Damn. I need to
This
figure that
one
out.
and Mrs. Pat. That's the only 2 that I'm like faithfully. Is like as soon as the episode drop, I'm like I'm listening. But I also realize I also can't listen to it while I'm working out because like whole workout will stop in my mind. Like I'll be thinking about something. I'll be like, man, super engaged in whatever it is. So I have to literally just be sitting there and like fully taking it all in.
That's humbling.
I appreciate y'all for that.
I feel good about myself right now.
You always feel good
I
about
was about to
yourself.
say, shut up.
You wake up glowing. Get out of here, bro.
Anyways.
You
You
levitate
out of bed. I was about to say the
So
same
that light
thing.
skin shit.
Anywho,
So put your feet on the ground.
Is the last dragon.
actually, this is
Literally, bro.
this is
I
light
said
skin
literally.
because it's made out of melanin, and melanin
Hey.
absorbs the sunlight and
Absolutely.
transforms it into stuff like vitamin D and shit
Alright.
like that. So
And we
you know.
and y'all want to wrap it up. And I was gonna say I didn't intentionally say the word try before, so that was like a brain fart. But you guys want to wrap it up with any quick appreciations?
I want to appreciate, since he was a topic of the show, Rafa,
Yeah.
and people of his ilk that are consciously focusing on giving back to our community, consciously, intentionally putting energy into something. And because he's been diligent and dedicated to what he's doing, Asa, quit looking at me goofy. He is bearing the fruit, and he's seeing all of these fly things come to him, and I can't. Every time I see him, I tell him like, "You the flyest cat I've ever met, bro, because you're doing what people thought was the impossible."
Yeah.
You know
Facts.
what I'm saying? So
All
I
facts.
got major love and support for Rafa.
Facts.
Yeah.
All facts, no printer.
My appreciation is going to Baba Malik Yakini, because earlier I said if Rafa wasn't doing what he was doing, stuff would be dead around here.
You
And then
insensitive
Boo said
bastard.
something, like that's not true. I feel what you were saying, but my point in that situation was Baba Malik is an elder, and it's not, that's that kind of responsibility has to get handed off. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I meant by
Speak
that
on it.
empty. I don't see nobody filling that void on that level, taking the baton. You know what I'm saying? Taking the torch on to
And
the
taking
next
that
level.
pressure off of our elders.
Yeah. But shout out to Baba Malik for holding it down and setting the tone, and the foundation, and creating that which is antecedent to what we're experiencing now with Rafa. So yeah, shout out to you.
I
Peace, King.
had another counter for that, but I'll let that be. I'll let that rest for another show.
Come on.
I think that people in the community. I think Rafa is the most prominent. You know
The
what I
most
mean?
visible.
The most visible, because he understands how to use the platforms available to him the best.
Yes.
And I think he's
He
gonna
not
be.
new to this.
And I think he's one of the most impactful. But you got more herbs. You got a couple of places around here, man, who
Facts.
are trying, man.
Facts.
And I think it's just a matter of like, it's a community, and out of that, you get a person like a Rafa who absorbs from the community that already exists. That's what that's what this is about. Is all of us moving into. It's okay for one person to be the figurehead, to be the leader. I think he's becoming that based off of the community that existed. You know, there was a pre-existing co-op to the one that's being built now. You got people like Arai, all these other individuals who might not have the same level of visibility and impact that Rafi is going to have because he's a dynamic individual. But there's a community back there, and I think that's what I was speaking more to, not just Malik.
Okay.
And then, you know, so Rafa's not new to this, so he knows how to play the game to get that visibility, but it's also not centered around himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's just using that as a platform that they consider this cause
Yeah.
to then be able to make other things and causes in the entire network visible.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not self-centered in any kind of way.
I don't think it's self-centered at all.
Yeah.
But I also don't think there's anything wrong with a person becoming a leader, because that's something that we kind of speak to a lot, man. It's like, that might not be his intention. I think he is a natural leader, and I think that, you know, that kind of just is something that he can't help. You know, it's just a part of his character, his person. All right, so we got to wrap it up. I want to do a quick appreciation. Mine is gonna be real left because this is a really long ass episode. But I want to appreciate. I've been running into people recently who don't love themselves enough, right? And these are some of the most dynamic people I know, and you know, it's not one individual. I literally had talk to a series of people recently who are extremely dynamic individuals, right? And they don't recognize that they already are there. And this is in a lot of different. This is in two scenarios in particular, but I've been there too, where it's like, man, I need for this to happen, and I just want to say, the people who seem to have obstacles keep them from being their best self, know you already are there, and that there's a gang of people who appreciate, love, and respect you, and that we support you. And that's, you know, that I just came from that with some of my heart. Some I've been thinking about two different situations in particular, but I feel like I've been there too, where I continuously pull out reasons as to why I can't move forward and why I have these different things happen in my life. And sometimes, you know, you just got to know that you already are ready. In class, we say there's no such thing as perfection. You are, you know, you are your best self, kind of, you know, so to speak. You already are great. Like, you don't need to add on. The greatness is already there. It's just a matter of you tapping into it. Mm-hmm. So that's my appreciation goes to y'all, and to know I just want to show some love and support y'all way. All right.
Dope.
If that makes any sense. Oh.
Do I do an appreciation too, or are we done?
You definitely can throw an appreciation.
Yeah.
Oh, mine is honestly, I think I said it already, just for y'all, for y'all three, this podcast, not only the amazing energy, but I think this is bringing something to not only to Detroit, but to the whole country that we didn't know we needed, you know. And it's so beautiful. A year ago, I would not have thought that I'd be faithfully listening to a podcast every other week, looking for episodes, because not only the content, but introducing me and again, the rest of the country to really dope, dynamic people in Detroit. It is you know, sometimes it's pockets, right? Like I sit in a place in a community where, you know, I'm connected to a lot of different people, but, you know, even within that, there are tons of guests that have come on that I'm not connected to, right? And now in some kind of way I am and I can be. And I think it's just beautiful what you all do together as young Black men. And I'm just so super thankful for you three.
Good gravy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love y'all.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Heavy.
Love you too.
All right, y'all. I think we're going to wrap it up for the greatest 29th episode of a podcast that we recorded.
Gang.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.